Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David, and that's Nico, as he sleeps on the chair next to me. Let me turn down this overexposure here. Sorry, he will disappear into the shadows soon enough. My brother and I just had a live today. It was posted up on the Twin Tarot channel. We did a live for a little over an hour with Dr. Lena Rodriguez from Lena Down Under, formerly Tarot Down Under. Yeah, pretty much I know you all know who she is. And for those who don't, go look up Lena Down Under. She's been reading tarot on YouTube since late 2017, I think, early 2018. Before I started reading, I would watch her videos all the time, hoping and praying that she was going to tell me that Donald Trump was not going to be the president for much longer. Those were the days. Anyways, it was a good read with her. It was an absolute treat to be able to do a show with her. Again, check it out. It was a blast from my point of view and my brother's point of view. So, and I think Lena had a good time too. So, good time all around. Now, why did I bring that up? Besides pimping it, why not? During that reading, I was breaking down kind of what's going on with Trump and Vladimir Putin. So I want to take you back here and just sort of connect some dots for you. So I've done it in the Twin Tarot video. I did on the live, the Twin Tarot video that's going up tonight, and I'll do it on this one too. In 2024, after the election, the U.S., they released their assessments, and they stated that Russia interfered in the 2024 election. I believe they also said Iran did too, but in this case, we're going to focus on Russia. Russia interfered with the 2024 election, and near the end of December, I believe it was the Secretary of Commerce, put sanctions against certain Russians or against Russia for their interfering with the 2024 election. That's how you know this is legitimate. The U.S. government actually took action on it, and they're required to. When Trump won the election, Putin's former Secretary of Security sent out a rather cryptic message saying that Trump had accepted assistance and he was expected to uphold his end of the agreement. So we know that Putin and Trump are chummy, shall we say. And we know that Trump is very much a transactional person. You do something for me, and if you succeed, I will do something for you. So we can look at Putin and Trump as having an agreement. Putin's end of the agreement may very well have been, I will interfere with the election to help you get elected. What was the reward for Putin if he did that? We don't know. But Trump's did get enough votes to be considered the President of the United States, and that occurred in January. So we have Putin and Trump come to an agreement. Russia does stuff to help Trump get elected. The U.S. government notes it and punishes Russia through sanctions. Trump gets sworn in. Trump starts recently stating that Russia didn't start the war in Ukraine. Ukraine started the war and forced Russia to invade them. Because, it sounds like every abuser ever, right? And then worse, he publicly humiliated Zelenskyy on last Friday in that debacle in the White House, which would make it seem like it was done for an audience of one, which is Putin. Certainly Putin would want Zelenskyy humiliated, and Russian TV celebrated this. Trump has announced that he basically told the CIA to stop all cyber offenses against Russia. Apparently, he also stopped sharing intelligence with Ukraine, military intelligence. And just recently, it was announced that the Trump administration is looking at ways to remove the sanctions that the U.S. imposed on Russia when Russia invaded Ukraine. So, what's the deal? Trump and Putin meet. They discuss something. Russia interferes with the election. The U.S. catches it, fines them. Trump is inaugurated. Trump suddenly is rewriting history, saying that Ukraine forced Russia to invade them. I guess it was the dress that Ukraine was wearing at the time. And that Zelensky's the bad guy and the unreasonable guy and the ungrateful guy. And that we should stop being mean to Russia and we should stop helping Ukraine and we should lift the sanctions on Russia. Almost as like, I'll help you get elected if you take the sanctions off of Russia. No, simply put. Good times. So I want to throw cards at the relationship between Putin and Trump with regards to any deals they may have cut here. Because I suspect that that's what happened. Okay? So come on down. Let's take a look and see what we've got going on here. Putin and Trump in deal making. This will be for entertainment purposes only. Foundation is the Queen of Cups. I think it's agreeing on things but keeping it secret. Crossed with the Eight of Cups, the walking away. This ends the war, but here's the thing. Russia wants to end the war, but they want to end the war on their terms, where they get to walk away and get to keep everything they took, and Ukraine doesn't get to keep anything that they took in return. Underneath all is the Page of Cups, is that strange father-son relationship, that daddy issue that Trump has. It's just weird dealing on this one. I do think that it's something on the down low, and it gives Russia an off-ramp for this silly war that they started that was only supposed to take 3 days. It wasn't even a war. It was some type of special operation to remove the Nazi government out of Kiev, and instead has changed the reasons why they're there. In the past, the Hangman. One of the things that was interesting is when Putin's former secretary had gone to TASS, which is the Russian main news source, to say that they helped Trump and Trump owes them favors. Russia was throwing Trump under the bus, and Trump may not have been returning Russia's calls, or Russia may not have been returning Trump's calls. There might have been a falling out between the two of them for a while there. Remember, maybe you didn't know, but when I was doing the international channel, Russian TV was putting up pictures of Melania, her nudes from her modeling days, and then mocking her that this is the First Lady of the United States, and mocking Trump for being an idiot. And then they put on this pressure campaign that he needs to uphold his promises that we apparently aren't supposed to know about, but they made sure everybody knew about it. So I think they were using kind of a carrot-stick approach with Trump. It might have been that Trump was going to renege on whatever deal that he had with Putin, because, that's kind of how Trump is. And I think Russia was putting the screws to Trump to remind him how he got there, and that how he got there could be exposed if it wasn't on the up and up. Current situation is the King of Cups. It's daddy issues. There's daddy issues here. Kind of like, I was talking about the father-son thing. Putin gets to be the daddy, and Trump is the little boy who wants daddy's approval type thing. It's funny. We also have the queen here. We got the full court, except for the Knight of Cups, not the Knight of Wands. Overarching energy is the Knight of Wands. This is part of Putin's plan. Putin had put this plan in place to start anew. Maybe to remove things so that Russia can start anew again. I think Trump is foolish to have taken it, but it also kind of reignited their mutual using of each other. There's the Knight of Cups. We've got the full court now. Knight of Cups. Trump is now on the path trying to sell everybody that Russia is in fact the U.S.'s best friend, not Ukraine. Now, as I posted up on a friend's Facebook page who was supporting Trump and saying, Zelenskyy has been ungrateful and yada, 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 yada. It just pointed out to him, I want you to look who's on whose sides here. On one side, you've got Russia, North Korea, and potentially China. On the other side, you've got France, Germany, England, Canada, Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Norway, Poland, Turkey, Italy. The list goes on. Which side do you want to be on? Do you want to be on the European Union side, or do you want to pal around with Russia, North Korea, and maybe China? This used to be a really easy question to answer. Not so easy anymore. What is Putin holding over Trump? What is Putin's influence on Trump? This card's wanting to pop up, such that Trump is just so enamored with Putin. I'm going to do two signifier cards because I saw what this one was. It was the Seven of Cups. And I think Spirit wanted me to get that one up there. What's Trump's enamoration? What's Putin have on him? Putin's bedazzling him. But Putin also needs economic help. The sanctions have crushed and crippled the Russian economy. It was pointed out that Trump in the U.S. bought billions and billions of dollars in Russian oil for a few years while Trump was in the presidency. I want to just throw something out there. When Canada said they were introducing sanctions and not going to sell the U.S. oil, Trump went on, this is like within the last day or two, Trump went on and basically said, we don't need Canadian oil. We have plenty of oil. Really? Then what's that whole thing with the Keystone Pipeline that you were bitching and arguing about and getting your viewers all up in your supporters all up in a froth over? So what you're saying is we didn't need the Keystone Pipeline. Okay, so if we didn't need Canadian oil and we haven't been buying Russian oil, then we don't need Russian oil either, but you were buying bunches of Russian oil before the war started. Almost like Russia was building up a war chest. I'm just asking questions, as Tucker Carlson would say. So if we're not buying Canadian oil and we can't buy Russian oil, we have enough oil that we need, we must be buying it from OPEC. Because they're big fans of the United States. So what type of sway does Putin have over Trump? I think he's got, just like Trump can hypnotize his audience, Putin has hypnotized Trump. Putin's got a lot of money, and he's bedazzled Trump. What's the challenge? Is keeping Trump's freaking mouth shut. Trump can't keep his mouth shut. That's always been a problem with Putin. Putin's really good at not saying the quiet part out loud. Trump screams the quiet part out loud. So Putin has to figure out how to bedazzle Trump and still be his daddy, his benefactor, without Trump knowing it, because if Trump knows it, he'll spill the beans. Underneath it all is the Page of Pentacles. Again, there's that youthful looking for a daddy. Trump admires dictators and strong men, and Putin could teach master classes on that. In the past, you got the Eight of Cups. With Trump leaving office, there was a distancing in a relationship between these two men, but Putin has reactivated it because Putin needs Trump to do stuff. I was asking what Putin has over Trump. Maybe Putin did some love withdrawal, and it caused some anxiety for Trump. Trump could also be having some mental issues, some intellect issues. He can't handle it. Maybe Putin plays head games on him too. Overarching energy is temperance. It's interesting. I think Trump suffers from anxiety, like a lack of confidence, which it's funny because he's such a braggart, but braggarts usually are the least confident people in the world, which is why they have to brag all the time. But Trump's got like that imposter syndrome underneath there. And he needs his daddy to tell him everything's going to be okay. And I think that's what he gets out of Putin. Putin fixes Trump's problems. Putin alleviates Trump's anxiety. When Trump's having an anxiety attack, Putin comes in and mixes up a cocktail for Donald so that Donald can calm down. Lesson to be learned is the Seven of Wands. I think Putin's just said, I'm on your side. I will help you fight your battles. I need some help here. I need stuff from you, but I will help you when you're anxious. I will heal your wounds and I will help you fight your battles. I will show you how to fight. And fight they do. The chaos that ensues. Putin is like that one guy who Trump can charm people and bully and do all these things. Putin is immune to it. They probably have done the psyops on Trump. They know exactly what Trump's all about, his weaknesses, his strengths and his weaknesses. And I think Putin plays Trump like a fiddle. With that 6 of coins that was on the foundation of the reading, is he knows how to play him, and he knows that Trump loves money more than anything else in the world. So as long as there is a financial carrot for Donald, he will follow Putin wherever Putin tells him to go. What does Putin want from Trump right now? Little four-carder. What does Putin want from Trump right now? Oops. Go on down. He needs a helping hand. I think this is the sanctions. We have to get the money flowing again. The sanctions are crippling Russia. And Russia's running out of money, basically. They need a helping hand. And you look what Trump's trying to do. He's trying to set the table for this. How do you set the table? You've got to get the American people turned against Ukraine, because Ukraine has captured the American people's fancy. Now, Putin didn't want Congress to fund the Ukrainian war, and the Putin faction in the Republican side, the Putin faction of the Republicans, held up Ukraine funding for months, at which time point Russia was grinding slowly away and gaining ground in Ukraine. The minute the Republicans passed the budget and included funding for Ukraine, the Ukrainians stopped the Russian advance because Ukraine could start firing artillery shells with some degree of regularity, and that pretty much crushed the Russians' ability to advance. With extra money that came in that Biden was giving them permission to, they started pushing Russia back and took territory in Russia. With the billions of dollars of oil that Russia sold, they built up a war chest. That war chest has run out. They don't have much money left. So Putin needs an off-ramp, and he needs it right now. I think that's why he cut a deal with Trump. Was, they got to get these sanctions off. I can't make money. I can't raise money. Russia's sending horses, donkeys, and camels into battle. There was a cavalry charge, a literal horse cavalry charge type event. I don't know if it's a cavalry charge, but there were Russian troops. I was watching the video. Russian troops riding horses in Ukraine. Here we are in 2025, and the cavalry's back. You want to know why the cavalry's back? Because they ran out of transports. What's Putin's end game with Trump? 6 coins. He needs the money. Putin calls the shots. He owns Trump. Emotionally can manipulate Trump. Yeah, what is Putin's end game? He needs money, and he needs it now. and he can emotionally control Trump. You know, he's always large and in charge. And if he doesn't do it soon, there's an ending coming here. An ending of an age, an ending of a time. Putin's time is not long. And if he doesn't get that money, Russia's done. So I think he wants all the sanctions. He wants international sanctions released too. That's what Putin is trying to get from Donald out of this. What does Trump want? I'm not really going to throw cards on it. I can tell you he wants money. He wants that Nobel Peace Prize more than just about anything else on the world, because that's a trophy that's not on his shelf and he can't make his own. I wonder if he does have this. I wonder if he did make his own. He made his own Time Magazine Man of the Year cover, so why not make your own Nobel Peace Prize too? But I think it really bothers him that, like, you know, Obama's got Nobel Peace Prizes and he doesn't. So I think he's trying to force Ukraine into a ceasefire and peace talks, and he's doing it by and I guess the U.S. is withholding all military aid. They're withholding intelligence, and they want Ukraine to sign a ludicrous minerals deal to give them all this wealth out of Ukraine, to force them into a peace negotiation where they don't even get a seat at the table. You know, I think Saudi Arabia was hosting the talks, and only Russia and the United States were there discussing Ukraine's fate. The EU nations are stepping up. The U.S. has surrendered their mantle as leader of the free world. Now, it'll be interesting to see who in the EU takes up that mantle. But it's not the United States anymore. Is that a good thing? You know, it might be nice to have somebody else be in charge. And the U.S. takes a back seat. I'm not against that. But understand that it comes with consequences. You don't get the first pick of everything. You don't get the preferential treatment. You know, there's these unspoken things that the U.S. gets when they step in and help out other nations. The example I was giving is, you know, you get your pick of the litter of food and desserts, and you also get to get the first dance with the prettiest girl in the room, that type of thing. And now, you know, if France is going to lead, guess what? They get their pick of desserts first. They get the first dance with the prettiest girl in the room. And, you know, so long as you're okay with that, that's all right. U.S. excellence can stand to be knocked down a peg or five. They become maybe a little bit too arrogant as a country on the international scene, and maybe a reset is needed. Anyways, and given our current leadership, I don't want the U.S. to lead the world. It wouldn't be a just leadership. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I do appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but I hope you found it insightful, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.